So every extra minute on an emergency call, it compounds and, it's going to cause customer anxiety. And there's also some risk, some operational risk. And so here I want to show how you can calculate your median time for emergencies. And so I'm going to show you how to also add your service line agreement target and then also break it out by day of the week and then by hour of the day. So in other words, Wednesday at noon, it's high. Sunday, at 3 p.m. it's high. And then also just have this. It's the same data as this table here, this range here, but we have a threshold. And so let's learn how to do these three things. So the first thing we want to do is we want to get a list of the month here. So go to the starting point and then let me zoom in. So just type in the word month and then just type in the word January and then drag that down to December. And then I'm going to center everything here. So doing the median, it's not so straightforward. There is in Excel there is a median function, but the thing is we need to recreate a range that meets this criteria. And the criteria is, let me show you here. So the criteria is one, it's an emergency, and then two, the job is completed, and then three, the month is January. So we need to create this range, and then from there we can take the median. So what we want to do before we do any of that is here's the data set, and you should have a similar data set from Service Titan or from whatever software you're using. And if you need help recreating this from your existing data, then just let me know. There's a link in the description. You can set up a time to chat with me. And so this data, service date, lead source, it has all sorts of data, but we don't need all of this data. What we need completed here, and then we need emergency here. So in other words, we want to filter any row that is emergency here, completed here, and January here. But what we want to return is the time. Right? So let me show you how to do that. There's a function called the filter function. And in that filter function, we want to return here the response time in minutes where the month, comma, is January here. And then we also need, actually, we don't do a comma here. The filter function's different. We need equals. And then you have to multiply. If you do a plus sign, it's an or criteria. So emergency, or January. But we want January and emergency. So then we need, let me just go to the emergency column or the call type column here times this, where this equals emergency, and where are we? Job status here equals completed. Now, if you press enter, you're going to get an error. And the reason is because it's just like a bug error, essentially. It's just bugs in the code. So you have to put parentheses around each of these to make it work. And I think you got to put it around there, like everything as well, like around the whole section. I'll show you what I mean. So we have that. Okay, so that works. So in other words, for January, emergency, completed, these are all the times. And now we can take the median. So you can just wrap this with a median function and then press enter. And so now we have the median times, and you drag it down, and then you have the median times. And let me remove the decimal. Okay, so now we also want to have your SLA target here. I'll just copy that. I mean, you can, of course, type it in. Actually, let me remove the decimals just because I want to make it look like the other tab. And then here, your target could depend, but I'm just going to put 55 minutes. And then underneath that, put equals, and then above, and then press enter, and then double click. And so now we can create the chart. So if you click anywhere in here, you can just go to insert, and then go to recommended charts, because we don't want the two lines. We want what's called a combo chart. and you don't see any of the options here. So go to all charts, and you still don't see, any of the options that we're looking for. Because what we want columns for the actual median, and then we want a line to see, what months we're above and what months we're below. So you go to combo, and then it's right there. Because with the combo chart, you can choose like what you want for each variable. So for median, we want a column, and then for the SLA target, we want a line. You can click OK. I'll make it dark. We'll call it emergency. Jeez, I can't type today. Response time by month. Or you can say median emergency response time by month. Okay, I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. I'm going to go a little bit faster because I'm taking too much time on this. Okay, so you have this, and what we can do, if you want the values, just click on the columns, click the little crosshair, and go to data labels, and then you have the values, and you can make them bold, you can make them, whatever color you want, make them white, and do that. I'm going to spread this out just so the months are flat and not angled. Okay, so we have that. So the next thing is we want the hour and then the day of the week. And so we need to add that into the data here. So we have a weekday and we have hour. So we're good to go here. What we need to do is just do hour, and we can get a unique list of the hours. And so if you just click here and do unique, you have it right here. But what you can see is they're sort of out of order, right? So we want smallest to largest. So you can learn a new function here, the sort function. And if you just press enter twice, it'll automatically update that for you. I'm just going to copy this and then press Control Shift in the letter V as in Victor to remove the formula. And then just drag this across. Okay, so now what we want is we want to do the same filter, similar to this filter, but instead of doing it by month, we want to do it by month and hour. So it's a little bit more complex because you're adding another variable. So filter the response time in minutes, comma, let's see, where weekday, comma, is Monday, and I'm going to lock this row. So I'm going to press F4 until the dollar sign is in the middle. That way we can drag it over, and Monday goes to Tuesday, goes to Wednesday. But if we drag it top to bottom, it doesn't go Monday, to the median number, and then that, so on and so forth. But it's going to equal that, comma, then we want the hour here to equal this, and again, press F4. Now we want the dollar sign before the letter. That way, as we drag it down, it goes 0, 2, 3, 4. But as we drag it over, it doesn't go to, the column C, D, E, and F. And then, let's see, I've already made some mistakes here. So times, not comma, times, and now are the, completed here equals completed, and then finally, what's the last one? We need here to equal emergency. And it's not case sensitive, so it doesn't matter if you don't. Okay, so now we have to, if you remember, we got to put our brackets, our parentheses. So here and here. Here, here. Again, it's not a comma. It's an asterisk because you have to multiply it. Yeah, this is a relatively new function. Let me see if that works. Yeah, so 25. I guess there's only one. It makes sense. Yeah, hold on. Let me see. It doesn't. Okay, yeah, so it's working because I just wanted to look for 2, right? Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to wrap this with the median function, just like before. And what you're going to get here is you're going to get calculation errors. And the reason you're getting those is because there's no data. So then you can wrap this with an if error function. So if there's an error, then just give me a blank. And then let me paste this here. Yep, so we're good. And then I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste it. I'm not going to drag it. Tables are a little bit weird. So like if I drag this over, you see how response time in minutes goes to job ID, right? But you can copy and paste it, and so you're good there. Okay, so I'm just going to do this, and then I'm going to copy and then paste it here, just so we can do the benchmark as before. And I'll put this down here, copy and paste. Okay, and then I will change the number formatting, press Control-Shift-1, and then I'll just remove the numbers. Okay, so the first heat map, pretty straightforward, just conditional formatting, highlight cell rules, or sorry, conditional formatting, color scales, and we want red as high, like that, right? Because the higher the number, the worse. And then if you have something where you just want to see the values that are above a specific value, like here, then we can do the SLA threshold. And so I'm just going to type in, I'll show you the trick. I'll type in the number 50. And then here, I want to go to the same thing, home, conditional formatting, highlight cell rules greater than 50. Click OK. And the obvious thing that you see is that there's blanks that are being highlighted, so we don't want that. So you go back to conditional formatting, and then you can do, say, new rule, and then format only cells that contain blanks, and then no format. Okay. And then nothing happens, right? Because what you have to do is you go back into conditional formatting, manage rules, and then here you want to stop if true. So like this is true, but it's not being stopped, right? So we want to stop if true. And then now you get those cells back. The blanks aren't red. Okay, so now we want to create this to say SLA threshold 50 minutes. And the way we do that is you press control, go to the cell, press Control-1, go to custom, and then you can go here to 0, and then quotations, and then SLA threshold. Maybe you want a colon, space, like that, and then another space, and then do minutes. Because now you... Oh, that didn't... Oh, I just deleted everything. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to go fast now. SLA threshold. And then press OK. And now you have this to where it's a number. And so it's like, okay, I want to see everything above, an hour. And so you can just instantly see that. And let me just do one last thing, which is format this to not have zeros. All right, so that is how you can calculate that. And so again, if you need some help getting this data sort of structured properly, then shoot me an email, fill out the form. The form is just to hop on my calendar, and you can email me at questions@databoards.io. And so yeah, also the file link in the description. You can click to download. You don't need to put an email in or anything. You can just get the file and you can play around with it yourself. Because another thing that you'd want to do is you'd want to do the exact same thing, but you'd want to do it by maybe territory, maybe by city, maybe by customer type, by tech ID, even by dispatcher, right? Maybe your dispatchers aren't that good, or it's not that they're not good, but maybe Jessica's significantly better than Laura, and she can train her. But anyways, that is all I got for this one, and I will see you in future videos.